Hey, Jack Bennett here. Thanks for tuning into the lesson. Today I'm doing another lesson on PROLOGIX pads. Today I'll be using the 13-inch Red Storm pad, which has just slightly more rebound than the Blue Lightning pad that I was using before. One thing that I didn't mention in my previous video is that aside from the rim and the different sizes and the different surfaces that you can get with the PROLOGIX pads, one thing that's really cool, or a couple of things that's really cool, is that underneath you have this rubber surface, so you can put it anywhere and it won't slide away. A lot of pads, you put them on a surface like a table or whatever and they move all over the place. You won't get that problem with these pads. The other good thing is that there are these 3 indents in the side, if you can see just there, okay, which is really good for when you're mounting the pad on a snare drum stand. You're not kind of coming in over the top of the pad and you're not sort of pushing the pad in and sort of warping the pad a little bit. So they've been designed with snare stands in mind. Okay, now the exercise that I'm going to show you today on the 13-inch Red Storm is a little pattern that I like to use as a warm-up. It's a pattern in 7 that uses flams, and it leads from right hand and then left hand lead. It's just a right flam as an accent, then a left right, then a left flam, and then a right left right, and then you do the opposite: left flam, right flam, left right left. Okay, so it's 7 notes total. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1. Now, as a drum kit player, I'm sure you're aware, it's not enough just to have great hand technique, because that's only half of our technique. If you're a concert snare drummer or a rudimental snare drummer, it is, but as a drum kit player, it's not. So a lot of the exercises I like to do, even if I am practicing on the pad at the drum kit, or I might be practicing just not at the drum kit, but I might have my pedals on a pad as well, is to do rudimental exercises or sticking patterns whilst playing my feet at the same time, because that's ultimately what we do when we play the kit, so we want to practice that as often as we can. So now there's sort of like a third element to this exercise as well, which I'll talk about now, and that is this is a really good exercise not only for warming up your hands and your feet, but it also kind of warms up your brain in the sense that as I'll show you in a second, you start to immediately have to think in terms of cross phrases. So when we learn this pattern at the start, we're dealing with 7 notes, and unless you're playing septuplets, which are 7 even notes inside a beat like this, which we don't normally think in that subdivision. Well, to actually give it like a rhythmic reference, the first thing I like to do is play a samba pattern with my right foot, and all of a sudden it starts to give that pattern of 7 some kind of syncopation and rhythmic reference. So that'd be like this. So immediately you can start to hear all of these accents come to life in like 4/4 time. Ba da ba. Now, where this exercise gets really tricky and where you really have to think, especially in terms of not splitting and flamming between the hands and the feet, is after we play... After we get back to the start where the samba lands exactly with that first right hand, instead of there being a spacing with the right foot of only 2 16th notes not being played, which is what you get with the samba, 1 E and 2 E and, we're going to condense that down to 1 space, which is going to make it sound like we've gone into 12/8. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and etc. Okay, and that, when you play the same pattern over the top, and the pattern of 7 with your hands, it doesn't change speed at all, but it makes it sound like you're now doing a metric modulation and you're going from 4/4 into 12/8. And that would sound like this. So that's the trick with the pattern, is morphing from one to the other. Okay, make sure that the hands don't speed up. So all together you get this: samba, then 12/8. So make sure you start out really slow with that one. You know, the most important thing is that you understand the counting and the timing of it, but also, you know, as with anything that you play on the drum kit, what's really important is that you don't get those awkward kind of, you know, those awkward splits where if something's supposed to be landing in unison, you're actually getting like, or the other way, Okay, that's the hard thing about playing the drum kit is it's a 4-limbed instrument. It's not just your hands, okay? So that's it's almost like a bit of a mind bender, that one. You're using a metric modulation to get from 4/4 to 12/8 and back again. Check it out.